All right. Looks like we are going. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome. So, today I am Nagi, your game master, and we'll be playing a TTRPG that I'm currently designing and producing called Burnaway, a game about loss and hope from the ashes. So, as I said before, I am Nagi. I use he, him pronouns, and I will be the storyteller or game master. And I guess we shall go around and introduce all of our players. And I'm assuming, I don't actually know if we're all in the same order. So, whoever would like to introduce themselves next, go ahead.
I'll go first.
Yay.
Hi, I'm Jilly. You can find me at Oh Look It's Jilly, most places on the internet. Today I will be playing Leia, who should I do a full character intro or just
Not
me?
yet. Yeah,
Okay,
just.
I will be playing a character that you will be meeting shortly. Don't ask any more questions. Um, my pronouns are she, her, and I sure do wish I could remember what Leia's pronouns are. Um,
They are she, they.
that's correct. That was a test and you passed. I'm playing 3 games today. um so I'm excited to be here. Yay, Natalie, please talk. Save me from myself.
All right, I'll go next. Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Natalie. I use she, they pronouns, and the character I'll be playing uses he, him pronouns. His name is Valen, and we'll get to him in a bit.
I can go next. Hi, everybody. I'm Never Squid. You can call me Nev. I'm at the Never Squid, most places on the internet. Today, I will be playing Echo.
Oh.
Oh, and I forgot, you were muted, but I also forgot to mention pronouns. My pronouns and Echo's pronouns are she, they.
My name's Assis. My pronouns are she, her, and I'll be playing a character called Lament, whose pronouns are also she, her. And you can find me on some socials at Lesbianing, and I have a code.
Excellent. And I forgot that I don't really use social media in a personal way, but I run at Artamantle on the usual socials, and that's where you'll see more info about this game. So, what I would like to do first is give a pretty brief description of the game, and then I'll explain a little bit more about the actual mission that we'll be rolling into. So, Burnaway, as I mentioned, is a game about loss and hope from the ashes. So, the idea is that in a kind of even more sort of late post-capitalist near future, there are a certain type of ghosts that are called embergeists, which basically come about when some past soul's spiritual connection to the world is so strong that it literally ignites the ectoplasm around it and causes fires wherever they haunt. And this is a big problem, but not one that's big enough for regular firefighters. So we have the Burnaway brigades, which are basically groups of mercenaries drawn from many various, sometimes very shady backgrounds to come in and deal with the Embergeist and also whatever the person who called them wants to do. So there might be a situation where where Burnaways have to make hard choices about what they're doing in the moment, where they could try and make sure all the victims get out, but they're not getting paid for that. So maybe they have to go after, something else instead. This game is allows for different characters to tangle with the idea of grief and to think about how their choices might have consequences for them and for other people. It's a game that can potentially get pretty dark and introspective, although not intending to get super dark or anything like that today. It's mostly just a game that I think that you'll be able to do a lot with, whether you're interested in really diving into a character's emotional narrative, or whether you're more interested in the kind of strategic, communicative gameplay where you work together to try and solve a puzzle that's literally always on fire. So, Today we will be playing the test play mission called One Act Tragedy. So I'm going to give a brief overview of the narrative that we'll be playing today. So, the once prestigious St. Genesius Theater has been given a chance for a new life. A deal went through a few months before it was scheduled to close its curtains for good, and the new owner has been investing big in renovations to bring audiences back to this historical space. However, it seems the Genesius's legacy of haunted misfortune has risen again. All work has been halted by a fiery apparition of an Embergeist upon the theater's main stage. Few were surprised, though, given the tragic death of up-and-coming actress Esme Delacourt just a few weeks prior, and whispers of negligence or even sabotage are building up around the owner's rushed renovation schedule, and how much it's been clashing with the theater's current production rehearsals. The owner wants the Embergeist gone ASAP, before its fires cost him even more time and money. But must the show really go on? So, we're going to be jumping into the opening scene here, but to explain a little bit more, in most regular playthroughs of this game, each session is split into 3 parts. So pretty much all you'll be seeing today is the central mission part where most of the gameplay actually happens. However, in most other sessions, you will have a briefing part and an aftermath part. The briefing part is basically to do any sort of like equipment buying and introduce new characters, kind of like give you an overview of what you're getting into. And the aftermath part is basically the day or the week or whatever time after happens when your characters can get a bit more introspective and kind of like determine how they react to what happened, essentially. We might get to that today, we might not based on time. But basically, the information that I would like to give you and to our players is the mission briefing, which basically outlines what their objectives are and how they get paid. So, basically, the mission status: the person who has contacted the HQ and requested that you all come over is the current owner of the theater named Bradley White. So he contacted the Brigade HQ after there were reports of small fires and witnesses describing fiery specters upon the stage. And he's very, very worried about the new renovations that are currently being installed in the space. So his main thing is that he wants you to remove the Embergeist by whatever means possible as soon as you can. Ideally, very, very ideally, before the fires ruin any of his precious merchandise. That is your primary objective, to remove the Embergeist from the theater. The payout is 1,000 base credits, which unfortunately is not per person, it is a group payout. However, you are being offered a little bit more compensation if, at the end of everything, all of the renovations are protected. Basically, they are not been damaged or destroyed by fire. This includes there are subwoofer systems on either side of the main stage in the house, as well as large flat screen TV panels that are stored in the wings. So if you manage to make sure that those things stay protected, there's a little bit of extra cash in it for you. All right. So we're going to jump into our opening scene. So basically, it's probably early evening, and unfortunately, there is a fire raging up from the St. Genesius's roof into the night sky, pouring black smoke out. And there is a relatively large crowd that's been cordoned off away from the theater. And entering the scene is a very well-loved, let's call it, well-loved van. It might have the name of the Burnaway Brigade HQ printed on it. Definitely a few spools of duct tape have gone into its maintenance. Some nice clanks and creaks and groans from all that. Just about anybody who sees it rolling up will recognize what it's there for and probably make assumptions about the kind of people who are going to be getting out of it. but let's find out who is going to be getting out of it. So this is the part where I would like folks to, one at a time, go around and give your character an introduction by describing what people see when they exit the vehicle and what actions they might be immediately doing in that time. We can go in the same order as introductions, just to make it clearer.
Okay. So I think the first person to pop out of the van is does so kind of like with a like what would be a superhero jump if it was from like 50 feet in the air, but it's from like a foot in the air, so it's somewhat less impressive. But she is short, stocky, and wearing what looks like a Ghostbusters jumpsuit. Like I'm thinking like the ones in the Barbie movie, except it's like a lilac-y purple color. Um, and has nails painted to match and is wearing like purple matching sunglasses on her head. Her hair's in a bob. And it also like the hair is darker at the ends, almost like it looks like it wasn't burned, but the fashion is that it looks like it was kind of singed at the ends. Um and she is chewing gum and kind of pops out and says, "Okay, well, this is a thing." Um, and then turns around and goes, "Hey, can you pass me my? Can you pass me my bag? My scarf's in my bag. It's ne- never mind. It's fine. Um, okay. Should we go?"
Yeah. Who's next?
Right. Yeah, so a very different person, a very different position, calls out from the fan. "I don't think you'll need your scarf for this one, dear," as a hand spiderly curls up across the roof before the rest of the body follows. And it's a very tall man. And you would assume thin, but the antique black firefighting coat covers what any thinness this man may have. And across his body is just the messenger bag with a little medical symbol on it. Uh, Silver framed round glasses that hide his sunken, very tired eyes, and long, sort of darkish brown hair with a silver streak all slicked back, but the rest of it sort of just loose and flowing around the bottom, sort of around his neck. And he very carefully puts one foot down and then another solid boot meeting concrete as he steps out, adjusts his glasses, and looks at the flames. And then just begins stepping forward.
Excellent.
So no one mentioned that they were driving yet, so I'm going to assume that I was driving.
Great. Someone's got it.
So out of the driver's seat steps probably the smallest person, both in height and in stature. A very slim, athletic runner's build, wearing very well used athletic wear, like cargo pants with lots of pockets, and a short cropped, almost mohawky ginger hair. Her eyes just dart everywhere, just looking at the people standing behind the cordon, looking at the fire, looking at the other people in the group. Just they never stop flitting around. And if the expression on her face was more scared, she would look nervous, but as it is, she just looks tense. She doesn't really say anything, just grabs the duffel bag from the side. I don't know where I guess the passenger seat, and just sort of steps out to join the other two, a little bit away from them, and also just like, if possible, with her back to the van so she can keep an eye on everything going on.
So the last person stepping out is, you see this almost frayed looking figure and this oldish woman of about average height and build. You see her like deep brown hands kind of grab the van for support as she steps out. And her like she's wearing these simple gray overalls with even somehow grayer button down shirt under them. And she just like already has her respirator mask on. So you can't really see a lot of her face, but you see a lot of like gray hair, um, sticking out from under the mask. And she just starts looking up at the fire and just also lets out a groan.
Excellent. Um, so just so folks can keep track at home, could we go around and just say what the characters' names are that we've just described
Leia.
and pronouns? Yes,
Oh, she, they.
great.
Valen, he, him.
Echo, she, they.
Lament, she, her.
Excellent. So you are all now at the scene of the burn, and from now on, basically the timer is ticking. The fire doesn't stop to wait to, basically let you make decisions necessarily. In that, basically, whenever you express that your character is going to be doing something, that is going to be basically taking time and an action, and the fire is going to be moving forward along the combustion table. So to describe what you're seeing right now, basically you've got your van parked just kind of outside the cordon. It wasn't actually too hard to find a spot because once people recognized your van, they kind of gave you a wide berth. In general, folks who don't really know any Burnaways or have never really interacted with them are pretty leery. They just know them as like the weird people who go in and sometimes fix things and then sometimes die. It's not a particularly well reputed job. A lot of people who come into this line of work have a serious axe to grind, a fire axe, or just are, they got something going on, really is all I can say. Um, so whether it be, the general public or the other firefighters, whatever, they kind of just like let them do their job, let them do whatever they're going to do. So basically, as soon as you get out, the policeman, working the cordon, kind of like show you the way through, and it seems that you're going to be entering through the main entrance to the lobby. And as you're, as along the pathway, there are a couple of notable things. One is a man who seems to be, or at least considers himself to be, very important. It seems to be very important that other people thinks that he's very important. He's got like a slightly ill-fitting suit, and he is currently talking very incessantly into a cell phone while holding another cell phone in his hand and occasionally switching the two up. And is currently the only person standing near him is probably an assistant of some kind holding two more cell phones for him. If you had to make a wild guess, this is probably Bradley, your employer. Also, there are, I mean, obviously there's like, at any fire you're going to have like rubberneckers, you lose, but this seems to be a pretty organized crowd. There seems to be some cohesion. There even see like a couple of like placards and signs. It seems like almost like protesters or something like that. Nothing like, you know, quite super organized, but it seems like there's a lot of people here for a specific purpose.
What do the signs say?
Uh, the signs you can kind of catch glimpses of, like save the Genesius and Bradley go home, and some perhaps more vulgar ways of saying that, but people get creative. So basically, I'm curious to know what folks do from here. Basically, going into the, if you want to like just head straight in, if you want to interact with anybody or anything like that.
I think that Leia's gonna assume that first is gonna assume that these people are protesting like something to do with Brad and the renovations, which is not currently the most pressing issue in her mind. So is going to walk past and wave and be like, "That's what we're here for. We're here to save the Genesius." And just like very friendly, like, "Hey guys, great to be here." Um, and is going to try and get the lay of the land in terms of like how wise it is to go via the lobby versus like another entrance in terms of structural integrity.
Okay. Let's see. I just from what you can see out in the front, it looks like the back part of the building is more on fire than this front part of the building. So if you're looking for the least Burnaway in, definitely this is it. You were also not briefed on other entrances or exits that you know of. You were given obviously a rudimentary map of the space, but for some reason, could be that this theater is like 200 years old, there aren't super clearly well-defined exits, emergency exits and entries. They should have thought of that before, the place went on fire.
This is an OSHA nightmare. So I'm gonna turn to the group and I'm gonna be like, great news, this part slightly less on fire than that part. You could probably see that, but
Yes, definitely can see that right there. Don't like at all that we don't know where any entrances or exits are beyond that. That is rather disturbing, but I guess we better get quickly before our only entrance and exit is also on fire.
Can I? Let me look up what it's called. Can I do a finding safe routes check to see if I can identify safe ways in and out and potentially extra ways for us to get out should this entrance get trapped?
You sure could. So that would basically be engaging in a challenge, which would basically take up a specific block of time as an action. So if you would like to have your character spend, the next few minutes doing that, you can. Would you like to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you have, I believe that would be a locate challenge. Do you have that specialty of finding
I
the
do.
escape route?
I do, in
Excellent.
fact,
What
have
is
that one.
what is your locate skill?
Where's the thing? My well, it's under maneuver actually, finding safe routes.
Oh, sorry, maneuver. Yes, not locate. I know my own game, definitely. And
My
what's
maneuver
your
is at 4.
Amazing. So you're going to be rolling 4 dice plus an extra die for your specialty. And basically what you're going to be looking for are even numbers, which will give you hits. And then you'll compare the number of hits to the target number. I won't always reveal what the target number is for narrative suspense, but I will say that this target number is going to be a pretty easy one because it's basically just walking around the building and looking for doors.
Okay.
So when you're ready, you can go ahead and roll.
I got what's the success?
An even number.
I got one even number.
Great. That is
On
what
dice.
you need.
Way to go. Good job.
So I will get back to you on that once you're finished casing the joint, and we'll see what the other two, or I guess actually at this point only Lament has yet to act.
So Lament is going to just go up to Brad.
Just like walk
Because,
straight up to them.
yeah, she walking with the group hears what they're saying about the escape routes, and she just mumbles like, I don't know who can tell us, and just goes to this guy and like just kind of stares him in his face.
All right. Bradley is just yakking to a cell phone, being like, "Well, what do you mean? No, no, no! They're supposed to get here last week. Yeah, no, I paid for express shipping. What? No, that means make the boat move faster, you idiot." Um, he sort of is like he's sort of like turning in place to just like seemingly yell at people that aren't there, and um your Lament is pretty striking as just like a person. I feel like in terms of your appearance. So like I feel like Bradley will in fact notice you for about 2 seconds and go, "Whose it was? What do you need?"
Um, okay, we you hired us. Are you going to tell us anything about this place? Where do we?
Oh,
What's the best way to
yeah,
get out? What's the best way to,
yeah.
not die?
Door. I mean, buyer, Embergeist. Uh, Oi, Rory, come here. Deal with this. He gestures over to Rory, apparently his assistant, and as Rory comes over, they exchange cell phones so that he is now talking to two different cell phones, and Rory gives you a slightly tired, slightly apologetic kind of nod and says, "So, unfortunately to say, Mr. White has actually not spent a lot of time in his theater, so unfortunately he's not the best person to ask about that. I believe the firefighters would probably know the most about this. Obviously there's the front entrance. Not really sure about anything else. Sorry about that. Mr. White's on a timetable, and apparently his 6:30 already has the Embergeist being, removed. So yeah.
Okay, well, tell him he might miss his 6:30 if the building collapses on him. So probably should get out of here.
I will
And
put
I'm
that
just
on
gonna
the
walk away.
I will put that on the many list of many, many, many things I need to tell Mr. White. Thank you. Um so uh I'm gonna say the three of you that are currently still at the front of the building, because currently Echo is casing around the back. Um, all three of you at some point catch a glimpse of somebody in the crowd who seems to be trying to get your attention. Like, just like hopping up and down and kind of like waving specifically in one of you's direction. Um,
Yes, yeah. What's up?
you're gonna have to like, are you like going over? Because like otherwise you're not gonna be able to like
Yeah,
interface.
I'll go over. It seems like Echo is doing a thing. So I will use this time to go over and be like, "Okay, yeah, you seem very agitated. What's up?"
All right. Are Valen and Lament also gonna go over? Or are you gonna?
Valen will keep an eye, but he is not a people person.
Yeah, Lament is standing right where she is.
All right. So does that mean you're just gonna be like standing outside, or are you gonna head in?
I think what Valen will do is, for this time slot, he's going to try and identify like any dangerous spots that we should for sure avoid or try and contain.
Okay. Uh, I'm assuming if you said that, you have some kind of specialty for that.
Yeah, I have identifying danger spots.
Amazing. Go
That's
ahead and keep that a roll.
okay. So I got a locate of 2 plus my specialty, so 3 die. No, I am very much flustered by the amount of people in the crowd and not getting this started as quickly as I wanted to, as I rolled all odds.
That's fair. I mean, big fire, bad generally. Pretty easy math.
Yep.
Lament, are you planning? What are you planning to do anything or just hanging out?
I should be doing something. Um, just not sure if like anything is.
That's fair. We can.
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
do the thing with
I think I'll hang around and like just rest so that I don't get too tired. I'm old.
Okay.
Fine.
um. So Leia, you have approached this person who is very clearly trying to get some attention. So this person, youngish person, is like, sorry, are you the Burnaways? Are you the ones that are going in there?
Yep.
Uh, so this kind of sounds weird, but like I think I don't know, but like I'm kind of worried about my friend. Her name's Lyra, and she's actually part of the theater troupe here, and I'm I'm a little bit worried that she might be in there. I've been trying to call her
There's
cell phone.
somebody in there.
I mean, there might be more people, but like I don't know. I mean, I'm just a little bit worried that she might be in there now.
I think I think immediately when she hears that there are people in there, she's gonna yell over to um pretty much her entire group. She's gonna be like, "Hey, there might be someone in there, people in there." It's and she will try and get the attention of especially whoever is nearest Brad, because that feels like relevant information that we should have been made aware of before we sauntered in here.
Yeah.
Um so she's gonna like straight up yell across to her teammates,
Coworkers, yeah.
I'm
coworkers.
assuming I'm still closest to Brad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the moment Lament hears that there could be someone still in there, like her brow or like whatever you can see of it furrows like badly. Like there's anger. And like I think I'm not even gonna like bother with Rory. I'm going straight up to Bradley, like knocking a phone out of his hand and being like, "You did not tell us there are people in there."
How the hell am I supposed to know? I'm not the one who's like guarding the door. People go in, people go out. You're the one who's supposed to be stopping the fire.
Are
Do
you
I
or are
hear
you
this?
not the owner?
Yes, of course I'm the owner. I'm the one who's paying for that burning wreck.
You are legally responsible. I think that I have been drawn over there by my annoyance now. You are legally and financially you know what? It's not, let the lawyers sort it out. We got to get inside there. Um um and then I think she turns back and just goes, so much money. So much money. Um and is going to stalk off towards where I saw Echo disappear around the corner.
Okay.
Um
Conveniently,
Yeah,
Echo.
Lament will follow.
So Echo has been walking around, making a kind of like
Sprinting around.
quick circuit around the building. It's a little bit difficult because this is like kind of in like the, sort of like the old entertainment district of town, where buildings are just kind of unfortunately close together. So there's really only like a couple of narrow alleyways around the building's sides, and you kind of have to do a bit of fence hopping to get over them. It's one of those things where it's like, oh crap, this might spread pretty quickly. Obviously, there are firefighters, applying water to the outsides, but with the Embergeist, it means it just doesn't stop burning till it's gone. So everything around here is made of brick, so like hopefully that'll like slow it down a little bit. You're not quite sure. You're not trained firefighters. Come on. But you kind of pop out around the other side of the building, and you have determined that there's definitely at least one other exit that you can see. However, it does not seem to be properly maintained as an emergency exit. It's like sort of in the back where the other end of the street is, and it's like, how sometimes like there's like a subfloor, and it's like there's a door to the subfloor, and then it's like kind of in this like concrete well that you can kind of like drive a truck down into if you're like loading and unloading stuff. It's sort of like that. There's like a lot of junk kind of around it. It looks like there was a lot of like building materials and other stuff like that were kind of dropped off there, and it got a little bit cluttered. So definitely not up to code as far as getting people outside of it, but it looks like, another possible entrance or exit.
Okay. Echo, having sprinted around and gotten some of the nervous energy off, seems a little bit calmer now. still very much keeping away from the crowd, as she will point out what you just said to the others. So our best bet is still probably the main entrance. Or jumping
There
out of a
might-
window, but that's, it has its own problems.
There might
Yeah.
be
Yeah, I'm
people
not
in
doing that.
there.
I'm sorry,
Uh,
sorry. IRL, you were talking at the same time and I did not hear what you said. What?
I think that as this update happens, I think that Leia will just kind of like put her hand out and say there might be people in there. We should get in there right away.
Assis, what did you say? You were also saying
Oh, no,
something?
I was just like, Valent was just, sorry, Lament was responding to Leah just saying, I'm not jumping out of a window.
All right.
Um,
So
okay. Then I guess Echo will just start heading, considering the main entrance is our best bet, she's just going to head straight for it.
all right. Anybody else doing anything besides heading in?
We did
All
have
right.
some firefighting equipment, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Whatever
Okay.
you decided to take from the cache that was offered to you. Actually, yeah, I don't remember if you were here before when folks were taking stuff. I believe we have, if you are interested, we have 2 extinguisher grenades left and 1 blast suppressant canister if you wish to take them.
I don't have a lot of bulk, so I think I'll stick with the grenade.
Okay. So, you all head in. You enter into the lobby area of the theater. This is definitely like the first place where you're like, if you haven't been in here before, it's, pretty nice. This is in fact a historical theater, so it's got like beautiful wooden, like dual wooden staircases that lead up to the balcony kind of area where you're going to go to the upper floors. There are some like nice antique chandeliers, tarnished, but still very pretty. And in kind of off to one side of the room, there is like a old wooden ticket booths, probably not really used much anymore, but they still kept them around because they look nice. Everything's a little bit ratty, a little bit musty because there was a fair amount of disrepair in this place before Bradley bought it, but I mean, everything's got a really nice thick patina on it, shall we say. Um, the thing that draws your eye the most probably is the who is already in the lobby. You immediately notice that there are a couple of humanoid figures. You're going to assume that they're not human because they're entirely on fire. They are simply look like almost like fiery shadows that are currently wearing antique costumes, long flowy ball gowns and dapper vests, the kind of stuff that you would take out of a Music Man or whatever else you're watching. They are just sort of seem to be more or less mulling around, kind of like almost in an exaggerated fashion. Like you notice that one of them was like leaning heavily against the ticket stand, and the other one was twirling about on the balcony staircase. But as soon as you enter, they both become aware of you and are watching you very closely.
I am good at talking, so I am going to try and greet these Embergeists, I assume, in a very friendly and casual manner.
Go for it in a very friendly and casual manner.
Hey, y'all. How's it going? Boy, you sure are on fire. We're here to help.
All right. Is anybody else doing anything at the same time?
I think for Valen, like having been told there may be like living people in here on this very burning building, He's gonna start looking for those either like doors into the theater or maybe signs leading to like here's backstage to like dressing room or green room or wherever.
I think Lament is doing something similar, but looking within the lobby itself. Like immediately, are there any like whether it's like immediate living people or signs of them like buried under rubble or anything?
Yeah, there's not any indication of any living people in the area that they can see. You don't see any like, you know, large piles of rubble that people might be under. You do, you know, see that there are the like you can get into like the main house pretty easily from here, and there might be more entrances if you go up the balcony somewhere. Is Echo doing anything?
I think trying to, as unobtrusively as possible, slink away to look for whoever was trapped, whoever might be in here, along with Valen, because she is also very much not a people person and doesn't think she can do anything useful with the Embergeist themselves, and hopes very much that Leia can actually talk them down. But just in case she can't, Echo is slinking off as unobtrusively as possible.
Great. Well, as soon as Leia really even like attempts to converse with them, they immediately kind of leap in an animated fashion, and one of them picks up their skirts and just like runs off up the balcony, and the other one dashes away. They both seem to be heading towards the house. They have no interest in interacting with you all.
But I'm so charming.
So with that, we have reached the end of the third round, and we are going to be checking the combustion table to see how the fire is progressing. So I'm going to be sharing the combustion table with the players. I'm not sure it'll show up on screen, but boop, like that. And okay, so as you all can see, we have a blaze level of 2, a combustion trigger of 3. So that means that 2 structure points are going to be lost somewhere in the building. We have 6 areas. So does someone want to roll me a d6 and potentially doom us all?
I'll do it.
Excellent.
I rolled a 3.
All right, we rolled a 3. That is going to be in the crossover. And can someone roll me another d6?
Okay, I'll do it.
Yay.
Oh,
Take turns.
look the wrong one.
I rolled a 5.
Roll the 5. All right. Ooh, exciting. That's the that's the lobby. Excellent. Love that.
Great.
All right. So all right. So as you can see, currently there are no douse counters on the map. So that means that the blaze level is increasing by 1. So we're going to have a blaze level 3 next turn. All right, I'm going to stop sharing this so I don't like just move over and reveal all my game notes. We can figure out how to. Oh, right, I have dual screens. That's how that works. All righty. So that means that we're going to be having a combustion event happening right in front of us for everyone to see. Exciting. Stay with me a moment while I find our combustion events. All right. What will be the most appropriate? There we are. All right, so I'm going to say that you might be temporarily distracted by watching the little fire spirits run away, but it's you're all your attention is immediately very drawn to a very horrid sound happening from above. In a historic building, they also have historic roofs, and unfortunately, historic roofs just don't stand up very well to fire and all that kind of stuff. So you're not quite sure what's happening up there, but you hear a just loud, wrenching, crushing sound, and you see like the part of a large part of the plaster up there basically bow in and then just like open up into this hole of just fiery debris raining down into the room. um let's see, I believe that this is going to be a defense situation. So all of you have resolve on your character sheet. I believe it probably all starts at 3. Is that correct? So you are going to be using your resolve to roll a challenge. And does anybody currently have any object defense or object protection?
Yes, I have my
Excellent.
jacket. My very
Hey,
expensive jacket.
you knew you bought it for something, so that you're going to
Hey.
be adding that protection as extra dice for your roll.
Okay.
I also have a reinforced jacket.
Excellent. Does that grant you protection?
Yes, for object.
Okay. Excellent.
I'm so
you'll
sorry.
be adding.
Repeat what I'm supposed to be what dice I'm supposed to be
Oh
rolling
yeah.
right now.
So you'll be rolling dice equal to your current resolve. So for all of you,
Current
that should be
resolve.
3, right?
3.
So these
And then
sixes, right?
adding yep, and then adding any sort of extra dice for equal to your protection for objects.
$11.
Sorry, one more time.
11.
11. Okay. So was that specifically the total, or how many even numbers did you roll?
Oh, right, even numbers. 2 even numbers.
2 even numbers. Great.
I
What are
rolled 3 even.
Great.
I rolled 1 even.
Ooh. Okay.
I rolled 2 even.
Ooh. All right. All right. Well, you all did well enough to. I mean, basically, while it is very, splashy and scary, you were all far enough away that you were able to like quickly move away from the kind of the blast radius when it fell down and hit the ground. So, yeah, it's hot and it kicked up a lot of dust, and you cannot see where the heck those fire spirits went anymore, but like you're all at least safe, and that's definitely something. Basically, the debris has fallen on one of the staircases, then that staircase is pretty much gone, unfortunately. You can practically hear the sound of Bradley popping a blood vessel outside about it, but so this is now a thing that if you would like to, you can take some time to fight the fire and add some douse counters to the table to try and make sure that the fire doesn't spread anymore, or you can just ignore it and try to head to deeper in.
I would like to try and douse it. I feel like if I don't, I feel like it will get worse, and then I will regret it. I'm gonna try and douse it.
Okay, what other folks are going to do?
I'm heading deeper in.
All right.
I saw on the map. I didn't really recognize words. Yes, thank you. I didn't realize there was an offshoot room, the tech room, off to the side.
Yes.
I would like to head towards the tech room.
Okie dokie. And Valen.
I think Valen will just stay here and help Leia just make sure nothing, like no harm comes to her if any more of the ceiling collapses in.
Excellent. All right. We will get to the people who are moving after we deal with the people who are fighting the fire. So, let's see. Oops. So to fight the fire, what tool are you going to be using to do that?
I guess my I have canister things, right? Grenades.
Yeah.
I took 2.
Excellent. Fighting fire with grenades. That's how we do things.
I love it.
So, you will be using a utilize your utilize skill for this.
Oh, I don't know that I'm good at that. We'll find out.
But because Valen is staying behind and helping, Valen, you can actually add your utilize dice to Leia's roll.
Perfect, because I have a 4 in utilize.
Oh well,
I have
maybe.
a 2. I have a 2. It's not bad.
Yeah.
And if this
So
is unfamiliar tech to me, I get another one because that's a specialty of mine.
Great. You would not say this is unfamiliar tech. This is
Okay.
pretty standard firefighting gear.
So I'm rolling 66 is what's happening.
Correct. You can roll 60 anything as long as it has a even number of sides. You can
Sure.
roll 60, 20, whatever you want.
Okay. I rolled 2
Okay.
even
Perfect.
numbers.
Perfect. So you pull the pin and it hisses in a weird way, but you make sure that it is on the fire before anything bad happens. And with a couple of well-placed blasts, you are able to seemingly mitigate a fair amount of the burningness of this debris. So you have successfully stopped one of the combustion events, and you have added 2 douse counters to the table.
Yay!
Yay! Firefighting.
Ooh.
So easy. Right? You didn't. What are they doing? Just chuck some grenades at it. Call it a day. Come on.
Listen, sometimes you can solve problems with grenades.
Exactly. Okay. So now for the folks that are moving.
Question: do we have communicators at all to stay in touch with each
Yeah.
other?
Yeah.
While
You
we're not in
have
the same room?
some. Yeah. You have some sort of radio, so you can talk to each other wherever you
Okay,
are
good.
currently. All right. So Echo specifically said that they wanted to head up to the tech booth, right?
Yeah.
All right, so that is basically on the second floor. So you take the non-destroyed staircase. Good thing that there is redundancy there. And you are going to be basically running along kind of like the upper balcony, and you have a chance to glimpse into the house for the first time. Lament, are you heading to the house, or are you also heading to the tech booth?
Is the staircase to the house the one that's broken?
Sorry, which one?
Is the staircase to the house the one that's broken?
No, you can actually you can either go to the house from the second floor or the first floor.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm going to the house from the first floor.
Okay, great. So basically, I'll kind of explain what the two of you see together, more or less. You from the first floor, and then Echo from the second floor. So basically, entering the house, it's a pretty wide room. It being basically where the main stage is and all the audience, but because it's a historical theater, it's still kind of got that like cramped kind of ish feel. Still very beautiful. It's got the really big, nice velvet curtains on your side of the stage, and you've got like a really nice like kind of ceiling decorations and stuff like that. Everything is of course still pretty like faded and falling apart. Definitely it seems like if it wasn't Bradley, I mean definitely they could use some money to really fix this place up. It seems like it's gone far too long without any sort of TLC. But again, it's your eyes are very quickly drawn to the main stage, where you see not just one fire spirit, but about a dozen or more acting in various ways. They're all similar to the ones that you saw earlier. They're all wearing costumes of various types and designs. None of them speak or have any sort of sound to them, but they are all pantomiming various acting performances. Some of them might be seemingly acting out a scene. Some of them might be pretending to deliver a soliloquy. Basically anything that seems to be acting essentially. And they all seem to be just like engaged with this on their own on the stage. So that's what you see, and that's basically your
How
action
many?
of at least a dozen.
Wow.
Yep, and
Yeah.
that's basically your action of moving to the new area that you're in.
We gotta hydrate. Thank you, Ida.
Gotta hydrate.
Also, Can um like can I communicate with the rest of the team as part of the same action? Or
Yeah.
yeah,
So
so
you'll
I think
go ahead.
yeah, the mind will just say that like, okay, there's a lot more than two. Like there's around a dozen.
Sounds like they're trying to put on a show to bring the house down.
A ba-da-ba-ba-da-bum.
I think
Um,
you hear like an unwilling snort from Leia. Like it's grudging, but it's there.
Echo will laugh.
Yes, validation.
nice.
I
All I
just
want.
just also just to point out, I am at this point wearing my helmet respirator,
Okay.
which has which and the beam light compass, which is a big light. So just so
Yep.
you're aware that if there's anyone who's in a position to see said light, I am currently wearing it.
Oh yeah,
Gotcha.
I have that exact same equipment. So
Excellent. All compasses out. Um, so I think it was Echo who was going to the tech booth specifically.
Yep.
So basically, like I said, you're kind of like skirting along the balcony, and then you reach the room, the door that's like tech and sound and all that stuff. Let me just check to see if there's anything else I need to make sure of here. Um, yeah. So basically, inside the tech booth, it's very cramped. Even not just because it's a small room, but just because it's just so cluttered. It seems like they just don't clean this out regularly. There's like a bunch of shelving along the back walls are just like totally cramped with, years and years of cables and like manuals and just anything else that you could possibly imagine people shoving to the tech booth for for years on end. There are some like really worn out like cheap vinyl seats in front of in front of all the lighting controls and the microphones and everything else like that. It just does not look like an easy place to be getting around in, and especially because as soon as you open up the door, there is just like an awful smell of just like acrid cloggy smoke that special kind of smoke when electronics are on fire. So respirators are a really good idea right now. All right, that is
Is there
another round.
anybody in there?
You would have to like there isn't anybody like calling out to you right now, but like you would have to actually try and search the room to make sure of that because there's a bunch of nooks and crannies, and again, there's like smoke in here.
I'm just gonna shout, "Is anybody in here?"
You do not receive a response. So
Okay.
what would everybody like to do now?
I guess I will. I mean, I only have one more grenade. Would it be beneficial to continue to try and douse in here, or would it?
Unlikely. There's currently like not any active fires in here. You might save it for example, like there was another somewhere else there was another structure point damage. So if you find that place, there's probably going to be something you're going
Sure.
to deal with.
Then I guess I'm gonna go look for that. That's maybe
Okay.
my next thing is I'm gonna try and buy us more time by finding the structure point damage.
Okay. Are you headed into the house or up to the tech booth?
Um,
Here, I'll share I'll share the map again just so everybody can see how
it
things
feels
connect.
more likely to be in the house. Maybe this is just because I'm a theater person and the tech booth thinking about all the stuff that hasn't been sorted in years is giving me anxiety. So I'm going to do what I did at the last theater I worked at and ignore it and hope that it goes away. Um, I think I'm gonna start heading towards backstage through the house
Okay.
because I suspect that that is where it is.
Okay. So that'll be moving from one area to the next. What are other folks doing?
I think Valen will be shadowing Leia in that aspect. Because if the only other area was tech booth from the lobby and there was no living people found, that means I have to go in deeper to see if there's anyone that needs assistance. So,
Okay.
following suit.
Alrighty. What else?
I think
What
Lament will go right up to the stage, just
okay.
like get as close to them guys as like bearably possible,
Mhm.
and try to like really observe what they're doing to see if there's like any pattern to their movements.
Okay. Are you trying to interact with them at all? Is Lament like trying to interact with them, or is Lament just observing them?
Um, I think for now, just observing.
Okay, great.
But like she's not
And
trying to like hide that she is there. She's just there and
yeah,
observing.
yeah. Okay. And Echo.
Um, I'm trying to think of what Echo would do because IRL, my real self is going like maybe someone's unconscious under a desk somewhere, but I don't know if Echo would think of that, having shouted into the room and gotten no response.
I mean,
Um,
Echo is a unprofessional firefighter.
yes. Um, I guess she's just going to take a quick look around just to make sure there's no one like unconscious on the floor somewhere.
Okay.
And potentially have a look around. Since she's alone in here, she's gonna look around for anything that looks fairly expensive that fits in her pocket.
Alrighty. Excellent. Bradley won't miss it. All right, so
No, no.
let's find out what happens with Lament first. So, Aziz, could you what let's say locate. What specialties do you have for locate?
So I have finding data. I was thinking maybe that could work.
Finding data is more about like specifically like hard copy, kind of like searching computers
Ah,
or reference libraries,
okay,
stuff like that.
right.
But you can still, I would still like you to make just a general locate challenge to as you're observing these creatures.
That is 2 evens.
Excellent. You're just, just like taking your time and just trying to like suss out any patterns or anything else. And the thing that you really start to feel like is that they are putting on a performance for someone or something. Like the way that they kind of angle their bodies and the way they kind of like move around each other. It feels like they're not just playing with themselves. It feels like they're, you know, projecting their actions out into the audience.
Oh. Can I clap?
Sure.
I just start clapping like it's an amazing show, like just full on like loud laughter. Clap.
As soon as the sound of your first clap like reverberates around the room, they all just stop dead in their tracks. They all just stop in sync and just turn to you as one, which makes the clapping a lot more awkward. Do you continue clapping or do you stop clapping?
No, I stop.
Okay, you stop clapping, but there is still the sound of clapping from behind you.
I turn.
He's right behind me, guys, isn't he? Um, so to keep up the suspense a bit, I'll come back to that because we need to deal with the tech booth. Um, so before you spend too long in the tech booth, I do have to say that in order to like spend enough time in the tech booth to like really search it and also, you know, potentially get some goodies to swipe, you are going to be engaging in a challenge, basically a defense challenge, to not like choke on too much of the awful smoke. Do you happen to have a respirator on?
I do.
Great. So if you're okay with that, you will have a bonus to this defense challenge.
Okay, if this is gonna take multiple rounds, I'm already saying I'm not gonna commit to that amount of time. just
It'll-
a quick look.
Yeah, it will not take more than a round to like do a
So
good search
what
of
do
this
I
place.
what do I roll?
So let's roll your let's see here. What do you got for locate?
3.
All right. Do you have any
And
specialties you can?
identifying danger spots.
Great. Let's add 1 for that.
And add 1 for the respirator?
That'll be for the defense challenge.
Oh, for the defense. That is 1, 2, 3 evens.
Amazing. Great. You very quickly determine that there's definitely not anybody in here, so you're not worried about that. Let's see. Let's see. Anybody who is anybody who's like actually IRL worked in a tech booth, can anyone tell me what maybe are some small expensive things that Echo might find to pocket?
Like how small? I mean, there's probably, I would imagine if it's a theater that is frequently used, there would be probably a computer or two, but like they could also be laptops and whatever they run software off of. There would also be a small fire extinguisher in there at least. But there is also, I mean, if it is a theater that does fancy shows, then the quality of like the electronics is likely to be higher. I did not work in those theaters, but they do exist.
Yeah, there's definitely like, I mean, even if you know the tech's a little bit out of date, it's definitely still like, you know, professional audio and video equipment is all stored here.
There would also very likely be some version of not like a personal stage manager's kit, but like the stage manager might have left things like flashlights and whatever was useful to them, including like a first aid kit or like my SM kit has like anything from band-aids to like silly putty in it. So basically the tech booth in my experience is very often where all of the detritus of the theater ends up.
Yeah. So yeah, I would say between all that, you can probably find some like little knickknacks, maybe, you know, like a mic that is like a hand mic that's small enough to pocket or something like that. You could probably find enough to like, you know, scrap for maybe 100 creds or something like that.
Okay.
So the last thing that you notice is basically there in on the shelves in the back wall, there's like one kind of area that kind of stands out to you because it's like one of the only things that's actually organized in this place. It seems to be ledgers that have been kept by maybe the stage manager, maybe somebody else, but like of just like the history of the productions that have gone on in this place. There's like just like a couple of ledgers that seem to have been taken very good care of that just at a very quick glance seem to be like very well updated and contain a lot of notes about the history of the theater.
Can I just whole ass grab as many as I can carry and just
Yeah,
put them out in the hallway so I'm not in the smoky
absolutely.
electrical room?
Yeah, no, you got to sit there and breathe it all in. All right, great. And before you leave, you're gonna be making
Yes.
a defense challenge with your resolve plus your particle protection.
That is 2 evens.
All right. Yeah, it's getting pretty bad in there, but you do manage to make it out without starting to like heave and choke. So the folks who were moving into the house from various areas also get to see the dramatic reveal of what Lament turns around and finds. About kind of the midway point in the audience, like, you know, right in the middle of all the seats. At first it's like very hard to see, but you notice like a faint outline, a humanoidish outline, and like kind of like wispy, almost like clapping. And even though it's like it looks very insubstantial, like the sounds still reverberate. And it seems like it's like sitting in one of the seats, but then its torso begins extending upwards until torso's about 10 feet long or so. And then one by one, little flashes of fire appear around where its head is. And each flash appears another one of those, like, you know, kind of old-timey drama masks that you might see, you know, in like a Greek play or something like that. And as they flash into existence, they sort of start spiraling around where the head would be. It seems to be currently, I don't know, engaged with mocking you, but the three of you are currently now in the house. So that is another 3 rounds. That means we get to go back to our combustion table. All right. So we got a blaze level at 3 now. Who wants to roll me the first check? All right. 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. You hear some crashing from backstage. Another one. Another one.
Not me. I don't have d6s.
You don't need to, you don't oh right, yeah, this specifically needs D6s, yes.
2.
A 2.
I brought out a bunch of
Okay.
d10s instead, so I did not bring any d6s today.
Alrighty, and one more.
All right. Go in the circular. 2.
2. 1, 2. Oh boy. All right.
Don't love that.
I'm just making sounds over here. Okay. And yikes. All right. Nothing happens immediately in the house. You know, why would it? It's the one with the most structure points. Why would it start taking damage? All right. So what is everybody doing now?
I am going to move towards the crashing sound.
All right.
Oh,
So you're
hang
just
on. Before I leave, wait. So we've established, right, that the person they're performing for is this creature, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you would likely assume to be the Embergeist.
Okay, I'm just checking that it isn't that there are like passed out people in the house that I haven't noticed yet, is really what I wanted to know.
The house is pretty big and pretty dark. You would have to probably search it to really confirm that. You don't see anything obvious, but
Okay, I think the smartest thing for me to do is to stop this fire spreading and deal with the thing after. So I'm gonna go towards the crashing sound.
alrighty. So you're just booking it through the house towards the back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What else?
Sorry, I think you're muted.
Me? Do I get to do something else? I thought that was what.
No,
what I-
No,
I'm
Lament was trying to speak, but not hearing anything.
Maybe refresh?
Yeah, we can't hear you
yeah,
right now.
video has exiled your audio.
Uh-oh. No sound. All right, once you refresh, we'll hear thoughts.
Yes. Let's let Lament. She had an idea, so let's let her.
While Lament comes back, is there any other thoughts about what they want to do?
Yes, but let's wait for it
Okay.
to get back.
Yeah, I think my choice will depend on whether
Okay.
what Lament might do, because there's one of two things I may split into depending on what's going on.
Gotcha.
We're supposed to waffle for a moment of this scene in house. Valen sees like Leia starting to run off to the sound, and he's
Mhm.
watching what seems to be the core of this whole Embergeist situation, the true like center of it, where the others seem to be connected to.
Mhm.
And seeing Lament there, sort of in a moment of thought. He then realizes he hasn't seen Echo yet since the lobby.
Mm.
So he just kind of like checks with the communicator just to make sure Echo's okay.
Mhm. Yeah, it's currently unclear how like how many missions you all have been on before this actually. Um do you think your characters are like newbies to the brigade, or you think you're like old timers?
I think Echo is fairly new. She may have gone on one or two, but she won't have been terribly experienced.
Okay.
I think that Leia probably started like slightly before Echo, but like not very long, but just enough that Leia feels like I'm the older sibling who will like look after you. I gotcha, kid, even though Leia is not any more competent at all.
It's a spirit about
Yeah. It's more a vibe than anything.
it.
And Echo will respond over the communicator to Valen. Yeah, I'm fine. I've got an idea. You said they were doing a play, right?
Yeah, there seems to be a central poltergeist that they're connected to. It may just be the true one to deal with.
Okay. To the GM, was there a fire extinguisher?
There was, yes. Did you want to take it with you?
I know it's probably going to slow me down because I don't have a lot of strength to carry stuff. But a
Yeah.
fire extinguisher is designed to be carried with one hand, which I have done in real life. So
There we go.
I'm
Um,
in real life I'm the, I don't know what they call it in English, where you're the like first responder who works for a company,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So
where
like
you work
yeah,
in an office and you get the like first aid and fire training and all that stuff. I don't know what that's
sure.
called in English.
I mean,
Um,
I don't know that it has a specific equivalent, but like it would be like safety
Yeah,
officer or
I was
like
that.
mm,
I was that
yeah.
for like 2 years.
nice.
So I have some experience in real life with stuff. Not
Nice.
big office-wide fires, thank goodness. That never happened.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think we'll take our break a little bit early, just in like a minute or so, so that will also give hopefully Assis a chance to sort out whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we're close to the halfway point, and obviously things can kind of break down a lot of different ways from here. We supposedly maybe still have a victim somewhere in the area. We have identified at least the Embergeist now, and we're not sure what it's going to be doing next. Okay, and we are back. So we need to find out what Lament is planning to do next now that she is stuck between a whole lot of fire spirit actors and the Embergeist in the audience.
I I mean, how do you talk to a 10-foot tall clay monster? Um, I will just try and say the most genuine thing I can, which is that um we're here to help.
Okay. So generally, whenever especially a speaker like yourself would engage with an Embergeist, generally there's kind of two modes of thought that you're going to be going down. One is you're going to try to exercise it, and the other is you're going to try to placate it. So basically, exorcism is kind of trying to overpower it just by through sheer spiritual will, and placating is just trying to, as you started to do, empathize with it and try to align its motives with things that you could do yourself. However, this is difficult to do when you do not know the former identity of the Embergeist. So if you have an idea of who it is, you could try playing into that, the potential motives, but it might also be wise to seek out the signs that might be lying around the theater to figure out who this Embergeist was.
Fair.
In any case, it sounds like for now you're just trying to show it that you are not an enemy. It sounds like.
Yeah, like even if I can just temporarily placate it so it lets me do my work, that's good enough for me.
Great. What do you have for persuasion or socialize?
I um I have gaining trust on persuade.
Great. That sounds good to me.
That is no even numbers.
Oh boy, excellent. Um all right. Well, before we deal with that, I believe we had a couple of people who were sort of waiting to see what your approach was.
Yeah, so Valen is sort of walking, like skirting the wall, along like where there's like that little alley between chairs and the wall. Um, and seeing that at least Lament is trying to engage in the poltergeist. I think he's just going to get to a point where he's sort of in between where Lament is and where Leia is going, just to make sure if he has to run to either one, he can. As I'm playing into his very much infernal medic here, just in case anything goes really, really bad. But he is paying attention to if there's any plaques on the wall that may show like history of the building, because sometimes some places will be like erected by, or if there's like any famed person that could have been named and put up on the wall, if there's any paintings or anything.
Yeah. In the house itself, kind of like in the outer walls, which you're kind of sticking to, there are like a couple of like large cast photos from like various past performances. But each cast photo is like contains like 40 to 50 people at least, so it would take you more time to like stay there and try to like identify more features of that. It might not be, the house specifically might not be the best place for that, but it's quite possible there's another room that might have more of that information on display. And let's see, Leia was headed for the back, right? Just going straight for the back. All right. So Leia will still be kind of in the vicinity, in the room. Basically everybody here will be like at various points of the room when this happens, but it seems unfortunately that Lament's kind of appeal has fallen on deaf ears, if this thing even has ears. It seems like what little Lament has said has kind of, for some reason, struck a negative chord with this thing, and it's like long kind of creaky hands, which has kind of grown in proportion to its torso, suddenly grip the seat in front of it and kind of like digging into the old faded cloth backing, and it kind of curls over itself and the masks start to spin faster, and all the fire spirits on the stage react to this perhaps their director's despair and unhappiness, and all at once rush towards the front of the stage and seem to be going straight for Lament. They all seem to be rushing at her. So
Well, that sucks. Um,
It's fair.
Um, I'm like on the other side of the room.
Mhm.
So here's what I want to know. Can I try and so what I picked as a background specialty distraction.
Okay.
I want to try and like pull them this way. Because I'm going towards backstage,
Yep.
right? I'm
Yep.
headed through. I want to try and draw them towards me. Um the actual phrasing of what I put was distraction via inanity. Um so I want to like here's what I want to do. I want to do a Meisner exercise with them. I want to be like, "How are you? How are you? How are you? How are you? How are you?" That's I'm drawing them into an acting exercise.
Okay. You can do that. You will have to do it pretty loudly and pretty, you know, pretty strongly for them to distract them from the like 10 feet that is currently between them and Lament. But
I'm a great projector.
excellent. Let's see. What socialize do you have?
Oh, I maxed that.
Excellent.
That was the one that I was like, I need it. Yeah, I have persuade. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
I
great.
have 5 persuade and then a background specialty in distraction.
Great. Roll that all to try and separate this group.
Okay, so it's 6 total that I'm doing.
Mhm.
Okay. Two.
Okay. Yeah, you very quickly leap into action and be like, I've got this. I can draw attention to myself like nobody's business. And the about half of the fiery actors on stage suddenly kind of curve off and are now headed for you. So, you've at least reduced the ones that are coming for Lament. Um the other two people who are in the house that haven't quite reacted yet, what are you doing?
Yeah, my first instinct would be to immediately start moving towards Lament. Second instinct is immediately looking for a place to pull the both of us to get out of the center of it all. Um, I think of what I could do here. My third option is to just completely keep everything away, is to drop that oxyclear bomb.
Okay. While you're mulling that over, Echo, do you have any reactions to this?
I mean, I'm not in the room,
You're
so
not. You're currently on the
I can
balcony,
just
right?
hear random shouting on the other end of the communicator.
Yeah, well, so the
Uh,
the the tech booth itself is technically connected to the house. It's not like because you're based on the second floor balcony, so you can look out over and see all this
okay.
happening from above, but obviously you can't get down there very quickly unless you take the shortest way.
Um, I missed a little bit there, so I'm not sure if anyone has figured out what I was going to try and do, because in my brain that made sense, was looking through all these ledgers to figure out which production these
Mhm.
embers were putting on. So to try and figure out who this was.
Great.
Is that a sensible thing for me to do, just as an out of character question?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's not really much you can do from up here
No.
currently, so
I mean, I could
yeah.
throw a grenade, I suppose, but I don't think I can aim that very well.
can only help things.
And I'm now deciding that one of my background skills is speed reading.
Excellent. Good, great choice.
Because I hadn't decided on any yet, and it makes sense for how impatient she is.
Perfect. All right.
So she's going to start with the before it got bought up,
mhm,
because she's assuming that this is happening. This is something before then.
mhm.
Because you mentioned the star who died.
Yes, Esme Delacourt.
Yes, so she's going to start around that time and then move backwards
Okay.
to see if she can figure out which production this might be.
Mhm. Excellent. Okay. Let me see.
Oh, and maybe throw the fire extinguisher down over the balcony.
All right.
So anyone
Are
down
you
below can come pick it up.
okay? You're trying to like pass it to somebody down below, not like whip it at the
No,
things.
no. Just throw it down so someone down below can actually use it, because it's not really effective from that far away.
All right. That would be because currently you're occupied with speed reading. You could try
Yes.
and drop it to someone down below, but like dropping a fire extinguisher like 15 or 20 feet from where you are has a very good chance of bad things happening unless someone's going to catch it.
It's not aimed at someone to catch it, it's just
Just trying to get it down
Oh, no,
there.
dropping it
it'll
on the floor.
explode.
Just
Mm,
on
It
the
will
floor.
explode.
If anyone gets there to pick
yeah.
it up, that's great, but she can't really use it from up here.
All right. I mean, apparently you're the one who's familiar with fire extinguishers. How likely would it be that a concussive force of that much would cause it to break or explode?
20 feet? Not very likely.
Really?
If it
All
was
right.
like 100 feet, sure, but it's like solid metal. They're not fragile things.
All right. Good enough. Cool. So, all right. At this point, we're
It
gonna
might
be
get set
having.
off, but it won't break.
Okay, gotcha. Um, assuming I'm just like here assuming that basically fire extinguishers work like shooking up Coke cans or something like that.
And then they don't. They actually have a safety mechanism, so they only go off when you actually have to like hold a button. Anyway, doesn't matter.
I mean, it does matter, but yes, in this case, but yes. So in this case, let's have the two people who are currently facing down these fire spirits. Let's get some defense rolls. So you're going to be using your current resolve plus any heat protection that you might have.
Oh.
Okay, that's just resolve for me.
Question. Does this count as a defense challenge against Embergeist powers?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so my spiritual enmity says I get a free hit.
Excellent. Great.
So is that just one more roll?
That means an automatic hit. So you can roll your normal pool, and then you get an additional hit for that.
Lovely.
So I got one even.
One even. All right.
I got all three evens, so +1, that's 4.
Amazing. Yeah, you. All right. Let's start with a more successful person over here. Oh, actually, sorry. Valen, did you just roll?
Yeah, because I was in the process of getting to Lament, so I assume was I supposed to be part of that?
You're not the one. Sorry, it was actually
Oh, okay.
Leah that was going to have roll because Leia was the one that drew their attention. You were not currently
Right.
being
Okay.
attacked.
Then ignore me.
So I'm sorry. I'm rolling what?
You're going to be rolling your resolve plus any fire protection or heat protection you have.
Okay, so I have a +1, so that's 4. Okay. The die is gone. It's gone forever. I'm gonna re-roll that because it's gone forever. That is 1 success.
Alrighty. So with let's see here. Lament, how you have succeeded. They are not gonna be touching you, but you can decide whether do you think it's because you managed to get out of the way? Have you managed to somehow like convince them to like stay away from you? You can kind of decide how this goes down.
I would mute myself again. I think it makes more sense for Lament to kind of, yeah, maybe just like, stare them down and tell them to back off.
Nice.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think maneuvering makes sense. Yeah, I think it'll be like just a like a stern grandmotherly no.
Nice. Yeah, like the moment of badassness, and you kind of turn back, and they all of a sudden kind of like slow and kind of like move around you like a wave. They kind of are like they're kind of surrounding you, but they're not getting too close. They seem to be a bit a bit daunted. Unfortunately, the ones over with Leia are not quite so taken aback, and they basically rush you and grab you and are intending to throw you out of the house. And along the way, unfortunately, you sustain some burns, so we have a potential injury. All right. Let's look at how this works. So when you take damage, basically the first thing that happens is that one tool in one of your ready slots suffers 1 damage. So basically something that you're currently carrying actively in your person is going to get damaged. If it has a bulk of 1, it is actually going to be broken, and you're going to need to repair it before you can use it again. But if it's something more with bulk more than 1, it's going to basically reduce its bulk by 1 and will need to be repaired, but you can still use it. So, for example, if you're wearing like some nice armor that has like bulk 3, it would you could have it be a little bit singed and kind of used up, but you can still use it for the moment. The other thing that happens is that your resolve is going to be reduced by 1. And that's not a permanent thing, but you're going to have to, basically that means you're going to be rolling less in future defense checks until you can regain some resolve. And also you will be gaining an injury. So basically on your character sheet, there's a spot for injuries. You can basically decide the nature of that injury based on what happened to you. Injuries currently don't do anything until you have more injuries than you currently have resolve. Then the bad stuff starts happening. You can have a medic, someone with medical skills, basically go and treat you and remove your injuries. But if they stay too long, they could become permanent. So in this case, basically you were grappled by a bunch of fiery apparitions and forcefully hauled out of the space. So you can sustain an injury, something related to that. And so also specifically, anytime that you have to engage in some sort of defense challenge, you regardless of whether you actually suffer an injury or not, you will be reducing your resolve temporarily. So for Lament as well, you will actually reducing your resolve by 1, even though you managed to get away without an injury. All right. So basically, from Valen's point of view, you see Lament's kind of moment of badass, where it's just like stand the hell down, and then look over and see Leia basically being like carried off into the wings. Um, yeah, just a little bye. You also probably noticed that a fire extinguisher has been dropped down from the upper floor somewhere in your vicinity.
All right, so many things to focus on, damn it. And I just like very loudly and almost demandingly proclaim, like, maybe it's time for intermission, as I'm backing out and heading towards Leia's direction, because being handled by fire doesn't sound comfortable.
Good. Cool. So let's see. Okay. Let's deal quickly with Valen and Leia. So basically, Leia, you did end up getting where you wanted to go, because the closest exit to you was in fact backstage. So basically, the fire spirits just basically threw you through the doors, and you are now more or less in the crossover section of the stage.
Is this where I was looking for the structural point?
Yeah.
Is this where it is?
Oh yeah, it's bad back here. So as you can imagine, this place is pretty cluttered. Obviously, it's like this is the place where you want to be keeping lines clear and making sure that people aren't going to tripping over stuff. And it is just like packed with like just like construction materials and just like stuff that's been shoved back here. It's really not a good place to be moving about. And right now a lot of stuff has like fallen over and caused even more clutter and debris and tripping hazards and stuff like that. So it seems hard to move around in any particular case, and there's definitely some fire here that you can probably put out if you want to try and mitigate that.
Yeah. Technically, I've achieved my goal of finding this on a technicality. This is where I want to be.
Perfect.
So I'll use my other grenade.
Excellent. Go ahead and give me a utilize check for that.
Okay, I think that was a 2, right? Yes, I have a 2. I don't have a bonus for anything else, right? It's
Nope.
just 2.
Yeah.
Okay, well, one of them was an even number. I've never rolled so many odd numbers in my life.
Yeah, it's just like between you're definitely still smarting from the from all the fiery hands, and you're not like there's just so much stuff here, you just don't really know where best to aim this thing, so you just pull the pin and you're like trying to think, and then all of a sudden it's just like the thing starts like just like vibrating in your hand, like, okay, I need to get this out of it right now. So you huck it and it kind of like you know, in a style reminiscent of Peggle, just kind of pings off a bunch of things and then explodes somewhere slightly out of sight. And you hear a shriek in response to this.
Good shriek, bad shriek.
A shriek of having a explosive suddenly burst maybe too close to somebody. Not like a oh god I'm dead now shriek, but like a that was very surprising and scary shriek.
Okay, well, this is fine.
Yep, and this is basically where Valen comes in as well.
And did I hear that shriek?
Yeah, you as well.
Okay. Situational. I'm assuming that someone is in the rubble and they probably need more immediate help because things have been dropping. So yeah, I hope you're okay. I'll come back to you in a second. And I'm immediately going to start searching through this mess to find said person if they happen to be in it.
Cool. So also this is a good time to mention the recover action. So you can basically take an action to like just recover your strength, meaning that you do nothing else, but you regain 1 resolve or 1 haste to your maximum of 3. That's kind of how you can. The main way you're able to get your resolve back, basically spending time to, take a moment for yourself. All right, so back over with Echo, you have just been kind of like leafing through pages, just looking for some specific things, looking for topics, and the general gist that you have gotten is that um, the tech director has been here for like a long time, like decades at this point, and has overseen a lot of things. It seems like this is their journals, and the it seems like kind of the old guard of the theater were very, very resistant to any sort of change. Like, there are apparently several productions where it's like, there were sort of like requests to have extra, like tech equipment or something like that, or some other kind of like just like support brought in to help with the production, but there was met with like heavy resistance because that's not the way we do things. Um, so whether it was like new harness systems, if we are going to have characters flying around, or whether it was like new sound amplifiers, there was apparently like a whole pushback against even like actors wearing mic packs and stuff like that that took a long time to turn over. But it seems like each like successive kind of like modernization of the theater was met with heavy resistance by the people in charge, especially the kind of like the person at the top, the main director of the theater for many years.
And does anything mention the actress who died?
Not in so many words. It seems like the actress who died was fairly new to the theater. Like you see her name a couple times, but like in only just like the last couple productions. Like it doesn't seem like this person was around for a long time at all.
And were they for or against the updated tech stuff?
Unclear. It doesn't seem like they were around long enough to have much of an opinion. Like this is, being all written from the perspective of someone who has been around a long time and like very clearly has a strong attachment to this place. So aside from kind of like just the notes on each individual production, it seems like it's very hard to get any sense of like, oh, this person was saying this or that.
Okay. So at this point, I'm assuming I've tossed the
Yes.
fire thing down for anyone to grab who can reach it, and I will communicate to everyone else. I don't know if this is relevant, but it seems like there was a lot of pushback against all the technological advancements and any new stuff, and they're installing a bunch of new stuff. Maybe it's related to that.
Great. All right, and
then as for my actual move, because I haven't done anything yet, I'm going to attempt to make my way to where, because I'm assuming I overheard them saying, "Oh, there's someone back there" or something. So I'm going to attempt to make my way there as quickly as possible.
okay. Let's see here. Lament, you are currently in a tense standoff. What is your next move?
Hmm. Probably run. like like I think I would assess the situation a bit, but then like she sees that okay, like this Embergeist is not getting dealt with without more information, and yeah, probably best to escape for now. So I'd like to go into the green room if possible.
Okay, great. All right. You'll be moving over there, and that is another combustion table check. We need 3 more rolls.
I can do one this time. I actually got a d6.
Yay. 2. Okay. Let's see. 2 would be, oh boy. Yikes. All right, one more.
I don't like
2 more.
those noises. The noises
6.
make me unhappy.
Listen, the yikes can mean anything. Yikes can mean a lot of things.
Yeah, but it doesn't. It means bad things.
It could be a yikes of pleasure.
Yikes. Yeah, yikes in celebration. Come on. All right, and one more.
Okay, I'll do it. 6.
6. Okay. Let's see. Echo, as you're sort of like moving away from the tech booth, you hear some explosions from inside of it. You definitely got out of there just in time.
Cool.
So let's see. Let's yeah, back in the crossover. So Valen, you are currently searching for the source of the voice, right?
Yep.
They're pretty easy to find because they are actively trying to lead you to them. You see kind of like someone waving over to you across like just a large stretch of clutter and sort of like fallen construction materials. It doesn't seem like they're actively trapped, but they're going to need help getting out of here.
All right. I am good at assisting victims.
Great.
So yeah, I'll be trying my best to get it over. Just sort of going to that medical mindset of asking questions like, are you able to walk? Are you able to move? Do you have any headaches, any disorientation? As I'm trying to find the best footing to get to them.
Okay. Yeah, give me a maneuver check. Do you have any specialties?
The only maneuver I have is assisting victims.
Yeah, I'll let you add that.
Okay, so maneuver is 3, so that brings me up to 4. All right, I got 3 evens.
Great. Yeah, you kind of you kind of do a little bit of like a sneaky, and you kind of like pull yourself through, whatever gaps you find. You make your way over to seems like a woman of about 25, and she is not doing great, seems like emotionally right now. She's kind of just like talking to you herself. She doesn't quite seem to be attending to what you're saying, and she's like, "Oh, it's gotten really bad. Oh my god, what am I supposed to do now? I can't. I need to get it though. I can't just leave. I need to get it."
Okay, what it is that you are trying to get in a very burning building?
My script book, my script book, I need to give it back to her. She it was supposed to be hers. Oh, I need to give it back to her. I can't just leave her like this.
And what is more important, you getting out alive or you dying for said book? Because then you won't be getting it either way.
um all right, so I see it sounds like Valen is taking like the kind of like direct and logical approach to
Yep.
getting her to listen to you. Cool.
He's like,
Uh,
this is purely material. You got to get yourself out.
do you have any sort of persuasion skills?
I have issuing orders.
Great. Do you want to go that route?
Sure. It's like, you're going to listen to me. We're going to get out because right now that's more important. All right. I got 2 evens.
All right. Yeah, she's definitely not happy about it, but you're not sure she's going to be happy about anything right now. But you are at least able to kind of like guide her sort of in an outwardly direction. So while that is happening, what is Leia up to? Oh.
So, I have nothing to. So, what do I have that is I've used my grenades.
Yep.
I don't have anything else that fights fire, right?
Yep.
Um, so my options are to go get this script so that this person will leave the building,
Yep.
or to try and talk the Embergeist down, which I am good at.
Mm-hmm.
But it's gonna take me several rounds, right? Because I have to go back into the room where the Embergeist is.
Yeah, that'll be one round to get back in there, and then you can use your next action to start trying to do something.
I don't think I'm rolling well enough to take that chance. I think I'm gonna go try and get the book.
Okay.
I'm just rolling so badly. I don't think it's gonna go well.
Okay.
Remember, there is also a fire extinguisher in the main house that I
That's true.
dropped on the floor.
That's true. Okay, I guess I will go back. This is a terrible decision, and I know it immediately. But sometimes we make terrible decisions, so that's okay.
Here's the-
I'm gonna go back into the house and try and placate the Ember Spirit,
All right.
because I think she wants to give the script back to is it this actress, or does it's it somebody else that she needs to give the script back to? Is it
It
the Ember?
sounds.
Is
it
the
sounds-
Embergeist mad because she wants her script back? Because I've been there.
Well, if the Embergeist is in fact the actress, then that could definitely be a motive. but if it's not, then it might be something else.
I'm going
Uh,
back. I'm gonna go talk.
Echo
to
would have mentioned that the former director, in particular, seemed very against these changes.
Okay.
Though what
Okay.
that means, I don't know. It could still be the actress, but I'm starting to suspect it might be the director. Who knows?
Okay. I'm going back into the house.
Okay. So let's see.
Just trying to help. Sorry.
No, it's good. It's good info.
Echo, you were heading to the where were you heading to?
To where the victim is, because I'm very good at getting victims out.
Right. All right. Yeah. So basically, you're going to be heading to the crossover. All right.
As
Basically,
quickly as
you.
possible. Yes.
Yeah. Basically, you and Leia kind of like cross paths as Leia's coming back into the house, and you're going into the crossover if you want to have an interaction there.
I'm going to see that Leia got burned, presumably,
Yes.
and just sort of wide-eyed, like, "You okay? What happened? What happened?"
There was fire. It was hot.
So it
Right?
goes.
Yeah, yeah. I see that. I dropped a fire extinguisher right there.
Yeah. There's a person trying to get their script in there. I'm gonna go try and talk to this thing.
Okay. Good luck. And
Thanks,
just
you too.
sprints. And just
High five.
sprints off.
Yeah. Always
High
time for a
fives
high
and then
five.
sprints off.
Mm-hmm.
Great. With Lament going into the green room, this is not a happy place to be right now. It seems like this place has taken a lot of damage. Like at least half of it is just kind of flames right now. So it's gonna be hard to be in here for any length of time, but basically it seems like, obviously this is the place where the actors are going to be waiting, or before or after or whatnot. There's some old like just like makeup dressing tables. You notice that like against one wall it seems like there's kind of some cast memorabilia. There's like more collections of photos and stuff like that people can look at when they're kind of hanging around here. um, do you want to do anything in here?
Um, so when Echo found out about the previous director, do we
Mhm.
know that director's name?
You probably would have seen it mentioned. I assume that Echo would have. Well, I guess Echo. Did you specifically want to tell the other people the director's name?
Any names that stuck out to me, which would be
Okay.
the technical director who wrote the journals, the director who seemed to be so upset, and the
Right.
actress. Any names that you mentioned that would have been relevant, I would have mentioned. Yes.
All right. Yeah. The old director. His name is full name is Kazimir Manchenko, who goes by Manny. Apparently, was the director here for decades at least. And one of the things you do see very immediately is that a large part of the memorabilia wall is sort of dedicated to this man because he oversaw, again, dozens of productions in this theater, but also apparently passed away recently.
Interesting. I, I mean, I ideally would just like to search like as thoroughly as I can.
Mhm.
Um, for anything that maybe stands out, like anything where he's looking a bit sad or looking maybe troubled.
Okay, yeah. Just a
Mm.
photo of him just like looking downcast, just like, there it is.
Hence his face.
All right. Cool. Did you mention earlier that you had something to do with data gathering, or is
I
that
have
somebody else?
finding data, yeah.
Great. Why don't you roll me that?
Ooh, that's juicy. That's 5 dice. That is 3 evens.
Great. Yeah, you very quickly sort of like scan the articles and the clippings and whatever else is like on the little like kind of memorabilia wall, and certain things stand out. Like it seems like this guy Manny was kind of like the one of the kind of de facto leaders in kind of uh, in the time between when Bradley White bought the building and the Manny was still alive. It seems like he was the one kind of the organizing the resistance against any sort of renovations that Bradley White was doing. And it seems as though like Bradley made a lot of headway with its renovations after Manny passed away. Uh, Furthermore, it seems that Manny was the one who kind of discovered Esme and was the one who kind of like, you know, got her into this leading role as well.
Is that right?
So that's the stuff that you find out there.
Sorry, my
However,
internet just like dropped for a half a minute.
so did you hear the specific things that you found out about him?
I heard the part until that Bradley made progress after Manny passed away.
Right. Yeah, and also just the fact that Manny was apparently the one who kind of discovered Esme and put her in the lead role because he saw her talent.
Interesting. I would like to just grab like I guess the articles particularly about Manny's resistance and about Manny and Esme, and
Mhm.
then like try and then get out of the room before it like the
All
fight
right,
escalates.
sounds good. However, being in here just because of like how much this area is deteriorated, you're going to be rolling a defense check with heat protection.
Oh, I don't
It's really bad in here.
Okay, this is going to be bad. So that's 2 resolve, no protection. Lovely.
Oh boy.
2 evens.
All right, yeah, you just barely managed to like get out before you like nearly collapse from just the sheer heat of this building. Um, yeah, it's pretty intense, but you managed to make it out and back into the house. Um, all right, so we have one more round before things get bad again. Let's see. Let's go back to the Valen, and how are you trying to extract this victim?
That's the question. I guess if the only other exit we have is going back where we came from, I'd be trying to assist them through the rubble, essentially the way that I came to get to them.
Mhm.
Especially if I'm hearing that Echo is on their way, because I know Echo's a little more better at this than I am. And the heat is exasperating the sciatica, so
Yep. All right. So if you want to basically lead the victim to a place where you can hand them off to Echo, then you can give me a maneuver check or challenge with any potential specialties you might have there.
yeah, the only one I have is assisting victim, and I'm assuming with me
Right.
leading them, it's assisting. All right. Oh, okay. I rolled 2 evens.
All right. Yeah, that's enough to kind of pick your way through, not quickly, but you know, enough to at least safely get you and the victim to kind of like a place where, you know, you're not totally surrounded by clutter. Um, so for Echo, who has just entered the crossover, what are you going to be doing?
I have a merit called Swift Extraction,
Great.
which, let me pull it up. I may take my main action to make a maneuver challenge with the TN equal to 1 plus the number of areas between your current area and the area you want to go.
Okay.
You gain a free hit to evacuate actions, but if you want to use this merit while escorting a victim, you suffer a hitch.
Okay. So basically, this allows you to move through multiple areas very quickly. Obviously, the
Yeah,
further away it is.
I
Yeah,
want to get the victim to the lobby and like out just as
great.
quickly as possible.
So that would be the houses in between you and it. So that would be TN of 2 because of +1. And you'll be escorting the victim, so you'll gain a hitch. So basically, the way that circumstantial modifiers work in this game is that there are hitches and boosts. So basically, a hitch is just something potentially bad that could happen. It's just like, because you've got an extra person with you, it's just harder to do what you're trying to do. So basically, you'll be at a -1 die for your pool.
And can I apply my finding safe routes
Yeah, absolutely.
to this? Okay, that leaves me with 4 dice. Let's see. Yeah, that's a 2.
Excellent. Great.
Exactly a 2.
Yeah, give me some narration about how Echo manages to like look cool while doing this.
So, this lady is a little disoriented from what I gather, or
Well,
is
yeah.
she okay? Okay,
Yeah.
so
I'm singed.
Oh, I think Nev may have dropped.
Don't leave. Come back.
I mean,
I have a couple cameras frozen on my side too.
uh-oh. I mean, they evacuated. They took off. They're out of here.
I was how fast?
Just like really getting to the roll of it. Okay, says I can still hear you. We cannot hear you, however, so we're gonna put your description on hold for a second. Oh yeah, I've also got a bit of freezing here. So let's quickly go over to. We got. I think the only one left still to go is.
Yes, I can hear you, Nev. Can you hear Nev?
I cannot hear Nev right now. Oh, there we go. Okay, we're good. Perfect. So I think the only person who hasn't acted yet in this round is Lament. So Lament, you are now coming back to the house, and you kind of see that the fire spirits have kind of gathered back on the central stage. The Embergeist is kind of just hanging out and watching them, and you see your teammates sort of like going in and out of the crossover across the way.
Okay. Question: did the last defense challenge so lower my resolve? One in
Sorry,
the
you're kind of breaking up on my end. I wasn't able to hear it. You might have to refresh.
Yeah.
And OBS is not picking up. Oh, okay.
Uh-oh.
Nev is leaving and coming back. Bye.
Here, let's
I mean, the tech room is burning, so
yeah, that's
Yeah.
basically. Here, actually, we're now going to hear about the very cool and efficient way that Echo has managed to escort this victim to safety.
yeah, so Echo is very slim and very small, but surprisingly strong because she does parkour for a living, pretty much. So this disoriented lady, who's probably a good head taller than her, she just sort of like does the piggyback thing, and having already made her way in, has sort of memorized a safe way to hop out and just hops and sprints like past as many obstacles just as quickly in a straight line as possible, like jumping past fire and stuff that's collapsed in the main lobby, and just rushes this lady all the way to the end, seemingly not minding having the weight of another person on her back, and just books it. And when she gets outside, puts the lady down, and just like waves and yells and shouts for the ambulance personnel who are presumably standing nearby to grab this lady, before turning and running right back into the building.
Nice.
Because
the
that's
power of
what sane
parkour.
people do.
Excellent. So now over back to Lament, and you're coming back into the house.
Yeah. I think I probably just am going to like yes. Did the last defense challenge also reduce the resolve?
Yes, actually. So you'd be down to one
Oh.
resolve. You're struggling.
Yeah, I'm gonna like just tell the rest of the team
Mhm.
that like, you know, this I have a feeling it's this Manny guy. He had relations. Well, relation sounds bad. He had something to do with the actress and the takeover, and like he was against the takeover. I have the papers, but also like I need to sit down, and I quite literally just sit down right there.
Just like take a seat in one of the aisles.
Yeah,
Excellent. All right, so you can do the recover action if you want. So that basically
yeah, yeah.
will bring your resolve back up by one. Excellent. So
Couple
that
more
is
things.
another 3 rounds, and the fire's really spreading. We are up to blaze level 4. So let's get 4 rolls.
Great news, everyone. I've remembered an ability that I have.
Excellent.
Yay.
I
I have
rolled it.
rolled a 1.
3. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
2.
2. Ooh, all right.
6.
6. Okay, and
I had a 1.
a 1. Great. So Lament, you just have kind of like leaned back in the chair when you hear just like this thunderous crashing from the green room, and you're pretty sure that it is more 2D than you left it. No going back there. Also, you hear some more explosions from the tech booth, and you think that is also gone for good. So running out of places to fall apart here. We're gonna be rolling d4s next time, if anybody has those on hand. All right. So current situation is that we have Echo back in the lobby, heading back in. We have, I think, Valen is still in the crossover. Is that right? Leia's still in the crossover.
No, Leia's on her
No.
way back into the
Leia's in
house.
the okay.
She's in the
Leia's
house
back in
now.
the house. Okay, and Lament is in the house. So what are folks doing?
Okay, great. I've remembered a thing that I can do.
Excellent.
So I have Ghost Whisperer. I'm able
Mhm.
to understand the laments of the Embergeist better than most, and I gain +2 dice to placate attempts or a free hit when it's in hypercombustion. I also get a thing where I know when I'm in an area that contains a sign.
Yep.
I don't know if that's relevant here, but I want to placate the ghost.
All right. Yeah, the actually both signs have already been found. One was in the green room and one was in the tech booth. So,
Okay.
all right. So now, who do you assume the Embergeist former ID is?
I'm hearing a lot about this director, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say union rules, we have to take a break. Everybody take 10. And I'm going to do the like you need to get some water and take a break. It's you got to look after yourself, otherwise opening night is going to be a mess. It's going to be terrible.
All right. So you're basically trying to connect with this Embergeist sense of like just theatrical normality and just kind of
Mhm.
like, all right, Interesting. Interesting. Cool. What are other folks doing in the meantime?
Can I help? Like,
Yeah.
since I'm already in the house.
Yes. However, this is happening the same time you were resting.
Oh no, right, right,
So
right, right.
if you can choose to not recover and then help, or you could choose to recover. So
No,
it's
I'm recovering. I'm old.
okay. All right. What about Valen?
I think I'm just trying to make my way back out because I'm now the furthest in the building.
That's
So
true.
trying to
Yeah.
rejoin in
Not
the
easily.
house.
Great. And then Echo, are you headed back in the house as well?
Yep.
Okay. Cool. So all focus is on the placation attempt. So what you're going to do is you're going to decide for your socialized skills which of these is going to be a best match for what you're attempting to do, and then the target number is going to be equal to the Embergeist's current resolve.
Okay. So sorry, this is me, right? I'm not used to
Yes, that's you.
responding to names. Okay. So I am persuading
Mhm.
plus my 2
Okay. Yep.
because of my merit.
Yep.
So that's going to be 7 total. Surely. Four even numbers.
4. Very nice. All right. Yeah, you let's it seems to be responding to just kind of you putting on this act of normalcy, and just like, you don't seem to be afraid of it. You're just basically trying to engage with it on its level. So yeah, let me tell me kind of, now that you have got its attention and the attention by extension of the fire spirits, how you just kind of like rolling with this.
So I think the first thing she does is she says, "Listen, you got to tell everybody you're in charge. You got to tell everybody to take a break. You got to have them simmer down, right? Um, get take some time, reflect. We got to clean up in here. We got to be in good shape for opening night. Like, look at this place."
In response, it points over to the by the side of the stage. There's like large subwoofers that are in the middle of being installed, that seem to be a point of ire for it.
Here, I'll tell you what, I'll have them removed, but it's going to take some time. Union rules, we can't work on a break, but I promise you it'll get taken care of.
All right. um after you make that promise to it, it sort of seems to relax itself a little bit and kind of just like sits back down in its seat. And as it does, one by one, the masks start to wink out of existence in little bursts of flame. And you see on the stage all of the fire spirit actors turn at once and give a kind of, end of curtain call bow. And as they do, they all poof out of existence and leave their unfortunately very burned costumes laying on the stage floor. Um, but it looks like you have managed to succeed at this one. So basically, everyone else gathers into the house to be able to witness this kind of, should we say, the final act. Is there anything anyone else is going to be doing?
I think I'll just say to him, the direct. I assume it's the director, but
Mhm.
I don't remember his name. So, Manny, right?
Yep.
Manny, it's time for the next act. You know it is. It's time to move on. It's gonna be okay.
Nice. Yeah, seems like you have successfully convinced this Embergeist to leave the theater in capable hands. Hopefully, someone else that is not just Bradley's, but someone who can stand up to Bradley in terms of not losing what is left of this historic theater. Although definitely gonna need some more repairs. Now that we've got serious fire, but now that the Embergeist is gone, the firefighters can finally do their jobs because it's actually possible to put out the fire. I'm assuming that everyone else is going to be leaving now that the Embergeist is gone and the victim is out.
Yes.
Oh, you're
muted
muted.
yourself.
Why do you do that? We know the subwoofers were at the stage. Where was the TV? Like, did we come across the TV at
The
all?
TVs were actually kind of stored next to the. They were kind of like stacked up next to the ticket booths out in the lobby.
Oh, okay. So they're all like, hey, cool. Great. Yeah, then I'm not doing it.
Well, they were close to. Remember how the roof caved in and like yeah. Well, like Bradley said, they can just make the boat move faster. So, all right. So, assuming that none of you have a strong desire to stick around this place, you all exit the building. You see, Lyra has been the victim has been reunited with her friend who you talked to out in front, who is very very happy to see that she escaped and seems very like thankful towards you. Bradley is still talking on two phones and just doesn't seem at all interested in anything around him aside from spending more money to solve his problems, which par for the course. So it looks like you have a pretty clear slate to go home now, unless there's anything else you feel like doing.
At most, Valen's probably just beeline to Leia and immediately silently going over her burn injuries to make sure everything's going to be healed appropriately.
Yep.
In the like crowd of people outside, are there any like maybe small news reporters or even big news reporters actually?
Yeah, I'd say
I'm
so.
gonna, how do I identify which one to? Um,
Address them all.
I'm gonna. Can I somehow tell which one seems to dislike Bradley the most? Which one is standing near the protesters?
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely some like kind of local, like probably like the local stations who have to deal with his like realtor kind of like bull crap that he's been pulling around the city. So you'd say probably they're the least friendly with him.
I'll just hand one of them whatever I took from the green room, just as like material
Okay,
for them to work with.
cool. Anybody else? All
I'm
right.
thinking of how I could do something to Bradley to piss him off without getting caught, but I'm not sure.
I think Leia's gonna give Brad a card.
Mhm.
Says, "Listen, Brad, I'm a people person, and some things have got to change around here. So now that I've dealt with this, if you need us again, I also have a marketing consulting service. So just give us a call, okay?"
All right. Yeah, he sort of glances at the card and shoves it into his pocket and continues talking on his phones. All right. So, overall, this feels like a pretty successful mission. You were able to get in and, rescue the victim and placate the Embergeist and get out alive and relatively unscathed. Of course, every mission is going to be different. There are going to be times with just because of the rule, how the dice fall. There's going to be, situations where, vital clues are destroyed forever by the fire, or unfortunately, sometimes victims don't make it out. And ultimately, we're not necessarily gonna go through the last stage of the usual game today, because we're just about at closing time. But usually at the end of every session, the last thing that happens is a phase called coming to terms, when basically it is a mechanical thing where if any character has accrued any grief during the mission due to witnessing some terrible, event, or whether they come face to face with their worst nightmare, or are basically left bleeding out for a while and have to face their own mortality, that's the moment where the character will attempt to come to terms with what happened and either find a way to kind of like incorporate what they have experienced into how they move forward, or they will be continue to struggle with it and make possibly cause them complications in the future. So that's kind of the way where, um, depending on the path that characters take, might end up wearing them down more and more, and ultimately cause them, to have to retire early, or in some cases end up, causing their death in a mission. But it's all kind of part of the narrative arc of each character that comes into this kind of game, where no one lasts forever, and it's more about making a story out of the time that a particular character has. So yeah, that's basically all we have for today. I guess I should probably say that currently, or almost very soon, on October 3rd, our Kickstarter for funding this game is going to be going live, and it's just Burnaway TTRPG. So you can find that on Kickstarter. And if you like what you saw here, we'd very much appreciate if you checked it out and helped us actually make this into actual books. And we have a really cool bunch of writers who have done a lot of extremely cool RPGs, and we'd love to be able to have them on the project and like have them writing scenarios as well, because there's like a ton of different scenarios that you could come up with in this particular game. So yeah, check it out on Kickstarter, starting in like a week and a half or so. So again, I have been Nagi and as Artamantle, and I guess we'll just go around one more time so we remember who's been playing.
Hi, I'm Jilly. I have been Leia today. Um, and you can find me at Oh Look It's Jilly, most places on the internet. I am a writer, editor, performer, and general thespian of many hats, because that's the most pretentious way I could say that. I will be at Big Bad Con next week, and the fact that it's already next week is wild to me. I will be playing Kel's Kitchen on Friday, which is a game of Ready Set Bake on Exquisite Corpse Presents. So you can check me out there. It's episode 2. And I'm really excited. It's a really fun game. Next Monday, I will be with Natalie on Nerds with Dice playing Night on Monday evenings. And that is a super fun game also. Very different from Kel's Kitchen. I'm playing a variety. And I think that is all in the next couple of weeks. But you can find out more on my Twitter. I'm getting better at using Blue Sky, but you can find most things linked there, or there, or there. Somewhere.
I guess I'll go because I was mentioned. Hi, I'm Natalie. I was playing Valen. Find me most places on the internet with Ghost Candle or Ghostly Candle on Twitch and YouTube. I'm in a lot of places, as if you can't tell. So when I'm not here, I'm over on Nerds with Dice playing Night, where I'm running the game, and we'd be having a great time there. I am also on Girls Funsiest Worlds earlier in the day playing Under the Floorboards, where we're little people under floorboards trying to live our floorboard life. And then Tuesday night, I'm over on Zeal Zaddy playing Kids on Brooms. We're the children of our D&D characters. That's been a lot of fun. We're getting close to our closing of that game. And then I'm also going to be a big back on, so make sure you say hi. So hi. And yeah, just make sure you follow. October is my amped up streaming time, so you'll be seeing me in a lot of places, as well as streaming solo tabletop games in the more horror haunted nature.
Should I go next? I
Yeah,
go next.
go.
Yes,
Um,
do it.
Hi, I'm Assis. I was playing Lament. You can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky at lesbianing. That's lesbian but yearning. Um, and I mean, right now I just have a small charity stream that I'll be running a game in on the 30th. But hopefully I have other stuff coming up in October. You can just check my Twitter. I'm also looking for like any more opportunities to play. Yeah.
All right, that leaves me, I guess. Hello, everybody. I'm the Never Squid, at the Never Squid on all the social medias. I am a VTuber, artist, producer, animator. I wear lots of hats. I am often found over on the Tavernaut channel, and we are gearing up towards the charity stream for Roll for Good at the end of October on the 21st. The Halloween Hijinks charity live stream that runs all day. Please check it out. Yeah, that's about it.
Cool. Well, thank you all for joining me. It's been a really great time. And for me personally, this is like kind of. I mean, I've only done a couple of like live stream games before, so I'm like not super used to it. But it was a lot of fun. So thank you all for joining and being players, and I hope you had a good time.